Hello there, and thank you very much for opening up this video. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Bond, Dr. James Bond. I'm actually an ethnic minority living in the UK, and today is the 11th of December 2015. Now, in the last few days, there's been public uproar because of comments made by the US presidential candidate Donald J. Trump on his stance on banning Muslims from entering the USA. Now, I'll come on to this in a minute. I'm not a Muslim, and I'm referring to my notes here, by the way. I'm not a Muslim. I never have been, and I never will be. And the reason for that is my dad is the world's most devout Hindu. Okay, but for 55 years before he died, my dad's best friend was the world's most devout Muslim, Uncle Azam. They were closer than brothers, literally. When it was Eid, my dad would always go and celebrate Eid with them. When it was Diwali, Uncle Azam would always come along, okay, without fail. Now, I have three personal training clients who are Muslim, and they're very, very well behaved, as were the Muslims I grew up with. And they would never do in a million months of Sundays the acts of terrorism that you see on the papers today. Okay, I'm not a racist, and I have friends of every faith and religion that you can imagine. In fact, attached to this email, or if you look below, you will actually see that I was responsible for the Commission for Racial Equality investigation into the University of Sheffield. So I am not a racist, I can assure you. Okay, and I said 99% of all Muslims are very well behaved, very law-abiding people. Okay, and we in the UK owe a great debt to our immigrant population, because for example, they do the jobs that the English won't do. I can give you loads of examples. You just look at your gas stations; they're staffed by ethnic minorities. Our 24-hour supermarkets, the night staff tend to be ethnic minorities. Look at the health service, and look at the what are called the peripheral hospitals. The hardest working doctors tend to be the ethnic minority doctors, okay, and they do a damn good job, okay. So let's come on to this. I don't agree with Donald Trump's stance on the environment. I mean, I'm an animal lover, I'm a vegetarian, and you know, I would, if I met Donald Trump, I'd give him a slap on the wrist for what he said about Walter Palmer. What Walter Palmer did was absolutely unforgivable, okay. But it is true to say that the majority of Muslim people are very decent law-abiding citizens. That's true, okay? But you cannot tell by looking at someone if they're law-abiding or if they're a terrorist. You can't tell, okay? So as far as I'm aware, there are 1.8 billion Muslim people throughout the world, okay? And according to intelligence services, something like 10 to 15% of them are radicals, okay. Of course, not the majority of them cannot be what we call it terrorists, okay, but you cannot tell who's a terrorist and who's not. If you work out the maths, that tells me that something like 180 million people of Muslim background are radicals, and it's the radicals who kill, okay. Now, if you think about it logically, that's about the population of the USA, okay. Now, in Nazi Germany, there were 60 million people there. The peaceful majority were irrelevant, but the Germans were responsible for killing 60 million people. In Russia, 20 million people were killed, okay? The peaceful majority were irrelevant, okay? In China, the Chinese was responsible for 70 million people dying. The peaceful majority were irrelevant, okay? On 9/11, there were 2 million Arabs living, Muslim Arabs living in America, okay? But it only took 19 of them to bring America to its knees. Yes, I did get this from a video. I've got these statistics. However, the peaceful majority were irrelevant. I was actually in London on the day of the London bombings, and I will never forget how terrified people were. People were concerned about their loved ones. Would they see them again, okay? My heart does cry for the Syrian refugees coming across. They are scared, they are hungry, and they are terrified. My heart cries for them, and we must do more to help them. The question that must be asked is not why are they coming to the UK, why they're leaving their countries to start off with. If Sharia law was so great, why are they leaving their countries? Something tells me something very wrong here. Like I said, I was actually in the London bombings. Now, whoever these people who are complaining about Donald Trump's comments have clearly never been the victims of some reprehensible acts carried out by a small number of Muslim people. Okay, before I go anything further, Islam is a religion. Muslim is a culture. Islam is based on the teachings of the Quran. Muslim is a culture brought in by the Arabs in the Middle Ages. They are completely separate, although they're frequently interchanged in conversation. But just bear that in mind, okay? But bearing in mind, let's come to cut to the chase. I live in Sheffield, but in Rotherham, not so far from me, there are people there who are too afraid to let their kids out to play for fear of Muslim grooming gangs, okay? Whoever has objected to Donald Trump's comments has never had the heartache of seeing someone at the age of 12 forced into an arranged marriage against their own will, okay? They've never seen anyone suffer an honor killing, and I've got friends who almost suffered honor killings and I helped them escape, okay? They've never seen someone suffer the backlash from the Muslim community for renouncing Islam and moving to Christianity, the crime called apostasy, which under Sharia law constitutes death, okay? These people who are objecting to Trump's comments have never seen someone give birth to a baby girl, and then when the family insists that that poor girl at the age of a couple of months goes to Africa for female circumcision, which is an illegal practice, okay? This friend of mine is actually in hiding, changed her name, changed everything, and has run away so the family don't do this to her daughter, okay? When I was a medical student, I saw multiple cases of young Muslim girls suffering from rickets, okay? That because their families insisted that they were covered up, they they weren't exposed to sunlight, they couldn't make vitamin D, couldn't absorb calcium, and under the body weight, the bones of the leg bowed, okay? It's excruciatingly painful, okay? What loving parents would damage their child's health? I just don't understand that, okay? Now the burqa is there basically to protect against excessive sunlight, which is fine, but theoretically to stop men from being tempted by looking at the young girl. Well, men, keep your trousers on, take a hot shower, and learn to restrain yourself, okay? Women are on fair game, okay? I'm going to talk about forced marriages, okay? I actually have a personal experience of a family relative who was forced into arranged marriage against her will, okay? And it's a horrible thing to go through, but under Muslim culture, it happens all the time. Okay, so that's basically what I was going to mention to say. If someone comes to the UK, I prefer that they fulfill 5 criteria. 1, within 6 months, they have a good command of English. 2, they undertake to respect our laws. 3, they respect our culture. 4, they're in good health, so don't put a strain on the health service. And 5, they make a positive contribution to our society. Okay, let's give an example of some ethnic minorities who've given a great contribution. My father came to the UK with nothing. Over his working life, employed over 40 people, and every year paid more in taxes than most people earn. In America, let's consider Arnold Schwarzenegger. Came to America with nothing, but he's an immigrant who gave a very positive contribution. Nobody has any problem with any immigrant who makes a positive contribution. What I do have a problem with is people who basically try and convert English culture to Western culture. I mean to Islamic culture. For example, I don't see any, if they don't like the British flag, well, tough, okay? This is a Christian country, always have been, always will be, okay? I have a big problem with people saying, objecting to pig bacon or what do you call it, pig things on adverts and saying it's offensive. This is a Christian country. If you don't like it, tough, okay? You don't have to live here. On top of that, when I saw one place, a school very recently who got into trouble for not giving Muslim students a prayer room, well, tough. This is a Christian country. I went to a Catholic school. We had Sikh students, Jewish students, Hindu students, and Muslim students, okay? The Hindu students never asked for time off for Diwali or what do you call it, Holi. The Sikh students never asked for time off for Guru Nanak Day. By comparison, when I was a medical student, I lived with a Muslim student who did the stupid thing of he took a day off on the day of one of his exams because it was Eid. And I couldn't believe how stupid that was. And he said it was a holy day. I said, hang on, matey. I sat an exam on the day of Diwali. One of my Sikh friends sat an exam on the day of Guru Nanak Day. What makes you so special? The university were thankfully very, very lenient and they offered him a resit. But I thought his actions were reprehensible. We are guests in the UK, so we must respect your culture and your economy and your country, and therefore we must make a positive contribution. British people should be proud of their culture, okay, and maintain it. Don't let it be overrun. So in conclusion, I do not believe that Donald Trump is a racist. I support him. Okay, he hasn't closed the door on Muslim immigration. He has basically said it needs to be reviewed. Jimmy Carter, okay, when he was president, during the Iran-Iraq war, basically forced all Iranian students to go. Okay, he deported them. On top of that, he banned Iranian people from coming in. Donald Trump's stance is nothing to do with racism. It is purely there for national security. When you are at war, okay, you don't let the enemy into your camp. At the moment, we are at war, okay? It's as simple as that. We've recently had the Paris bombings, okay? We don't want another Paris bombings. We don't want another London 7th of July. We do not want another Madrid bombing. We certainly do not want another 9/11. Okay, we don't want this. So in the interest of security, he's only speaking some common sense. He hasn't closed the door completely. He just said it needs to be reviewed, and until they sort out what's going on, just stop them coming in. That's fine. I support him. I'm an ethnic minority. I support Donald Trump. So he's not a racist. He's just acting in the interest of national security. My name's Bond, James Bond. Thank you very much for watching this video, and hopefully it's left you shaken but not stirred. Bye bye.